Again, in our math journal today, you're going to turn to the table of contents. You're going to write adding and subtracting fractions. Adding and subtracting fractions. ... Page 20. Then you're going to turn to page 20. And you want to glue down this page on page 20. And you also want to write page 20 wherever you're keeping up with your numbers. Leave yourself some room on page 20 to do a couple of examples. I don't care if you leave room at the top, bottom, wherever. I usually have the directions and then put the examples at the bottom. I just think it makes the most sense that way. All right. So our directions, well, I'm going to do the examples as we talk about our directions. So the first one we're going to do, examples. The first one we're going to do is 1/4 plus 1/6. 1/4 plus 1/6. So here is something really important. Whenever you are doing adding fractions, do not add them this way. You want to add them one on top of the other, just like a whole number. So 1/4 plus 1/6. Now, the first step says find the LCM, the least common multiple, of the denominators. Okay, well, we just learned that in a previous video. So I'm going to take my denominators, 4 and 6. I'm going to make a t-chart. I am not just going to multiply those together. If I multiply those together, I get 24. 24 is not my least common multiple. All right, so let's see. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. 6, 12, 18. Oh, look. There's my least common multiple, 12. So now I did step 1, find the least common multiple. 2, using your least common multiple, find a common denominator. Well, that's kind of redundant. Our least common multiple is our common denominator. So since my least common multiple was 12, my least common denominator is going to be 12. So I'm going to take 12 and I'm going to put it at the bottom of both of these fractions. My common denominator with both of these is 12. Step 3 says find equivalent fractions using your common denominator. Go back to our work here. So it says to use this denominator to find an equivalent fraction. The way I do that is this. I ask myself, hey self, what did I do to 4 to get to 12? And you should say, well, you multiplied that 4 times 3. And if you're not sure what you did to it, you can go look over here in your t-chart. 1, 2, 3. I multiplied it by 3. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So, and yes, you need to show this. I'm showing it in a different color for emphasis, but you do have to show me what you're multiplying by to find your equivalent fraction. Since I multiplied the bottom 4 by 3 to get 12, I have to multiply 1 by 3 to get 3. So 3/12 is an equivalent fraction for 1/4. Got to do the same thing down here. Got to talk to myself. Hey self, what did you do to 6 to get to 12? Well, I multiplied that 6 by 2. If I did it to the bottom, I have to do it to the top. Since 6 times 2 is 12, 1 times 2 is 2. So now I have done step 3, find equivalent fractions. The next step says add/subtract the numerators. Since this is an adding problem, I'm going to add the numerators, just the numerators. So I have a 3 and I have a 2. 3 plus 2 is 5. Step 5 says place your common denominator under the sum or difference, depending on what you did, of the numerator. So my common denominator was 12. I'm going to place it under this answer I just got, 5/12. The last step says Simplify if possible. We will be talking about simplifying tomorrow. We will have notes dedicated to just simplification. This simplifying or reducing is when you can make the answer smaller. You cannot make this answer any smaller. We don't have to simplify this one. We're going to leave it alone. Our next example is going to be 2/3 minus 1/2. We do not add or subtract going across like this, so we're going to rewrite them going up and down. So we're going to do 2/3 minus 1/2. Subtracting this time. Steps are the same. Find the least common multiple of the denominators. So I'm going to take my denominators, 3 and 2, make myself a t-chart. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Oh, looky here, 6. I'm going to use that least common multiple to get a common denominator. It is my common denominator. 6, 6. All right, I'm going to use that common denominator to find equivalent fractions. So I'm going to go cray-cray and I'm going to talk to myself. Hey, self, what did you do to 3 to get to 6? Well, I multiplied 3 times 2. So if I multiply the denominator by 2, I have to multiply the numerator by 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So 2/3 and 4/6 are equivalent fractions. Now I'm going to go cray-cray again and talk to myself. Hey, self, what did you do to 2 to get to 6? Well, I multiplied that by 3. And if I do it to the bottom, I have to do it to the top. And 1 times 3 is 3. So 1/2 and 3/6 are equivalent fractions. Now I'm going to subtract the numerators, since this is a subtraction problem. 4 minus 3 is 1. I'm going to place this common denominator under the difference that I just got, 6. Simplify if possible, and that one cannot be simplified. We will talk about simplifying tomorrow. So you should have watched 3 videos today, 2 of them on notes and 1 of them on a worksheet. You should have worked on your iReady math time in class today after your test. If you didn't, you need to work on getting 15 minutes today. And you need to work on some of your review sheet problems. Not all of them, just do like 3 or 4 problems today for math.